Bella Ramsey just seemed to pop up overnight and became a sensation after their performance on Game of Thrones. Since then, they've only gotten better, and their role as Ellie just proves that. But did you know this fact about the actor? They opened up recently on how they are actually gender fluid.
I'm gonna talk to you like you're an adult, okay?
The actor was promoting the new HBO series The Last of Us when they were asked a little about their gender identity. Since Ellie is a queer character in the games, people were curious as to how the show would tackle this. While Ramsey didn't drop any hints about their sexuality, they did talk about how they considered themselves gender fluid when they were given an award for their performance in Catherine Called Bordy. The announcement read out Best Actor/Actress.
After which, he will press seeds into my brain, and they trickle down my throat into my gut, where they take root for 9 months before popping out my bum. No!
Apparently, they loved that because the category wasn't stuck in conventional gender norms. They recalled that throughout their life, even at a very young age, they were always very fluid with gender. People would call her as she, and they didn't care. But if anyone accidentally called them as he, they would actually get excited. That's actually one of the first signs gender fluid people go through as children, and it must have been reassuring for Ramsey too. So,
count slowly and clearly from 1 to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Slowly and clearly.
1.
if you're trying to get on their good side, just try referring to them as a boy. The actor continued and said that when they had to fill out documents or forms, they would always look for the non-binary option since that was more comfortable. But when it came to their pronouns, they couldn't care less, because to them, being gendered wasn't something that they really liked. At the end of the day, we're all just humans, and that's what they like to be perceived as. Whatever the case, Bella Ramsey has brought some of that gender fluidity to her roles. And here's the best example I've got for you. Remember how she pulled off Lyanna Mormont on Game of Thrones? Defying all gender norms even within the series. The young Lyanna Mormont carries the burden of ruling her house, even though traditionally it's a male's duty. But even in her final moments, as she was being crushed by the fist of a giant, she was indestructible. She stole the spotlight away from her far more famous co-stars, and even inspired YouTube compilations of Lyanna Mormont roasting people for 2 minutes straight. Not one, not even the worst critics of the hit HBO shows last season could find a fault in her performance as the Little Iron Lady. Even when she was dying, she gave a life-changing performance and performed one of the most heroic acts on the show, and thrust her sword into the giant eye, probably saving half the characters on the show. Her character died a few moments later, but still we all remember her scream of resolve the most, and so that performance helped establish her as a powerhouse actor at just the age of 12, but HBO didn't take full advantage of her talent until many years later.
I've been attacked by one and it wasn't like that.
Okay, from this point forward, we are silent.
When she was finally cast as Ellie in The Last of Us. Looking back, there are actually a lot of similarities in these two characters. They're both mature for their age and have seen the hardships of life way too early. But the difference was that Ellie already had an entire fan base Ramsey would have to crack into, and her audition is what won over the producers for the show. Joel and Ellie are probably some of the most beloved characters ever created in history, and that's why the showrunners, Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, had to go through 1,000 auditions to find the right people to play those parts. The dynamic really had to sing, or else their careers would have been over. Say whatever you want, but this fan base can be toxic as hell when it wants to. Druckmann and Mazin tried to find Ellie in women of all ranges, ranging from people in their mid-20s all the way to the age of 9. In the game, Ellie was actually played by Ashley Johnson, who was around 25 at the time.
Here we go. There we go.
So what that did was make the character seem much older than she actually was. Ellie had a wisdom beyond her years, even though she was naive and still a kid. She was still smart, dangerous, and even funny, and the producers were trying to find that in the actress. Not an easy thing to do. But when Bella Ramsey walked in the room, Mazin immediately went like, "Oh, that's Lady Mormont. Everybody thought she would be too recognizable as her Game of Thrones character, but as she started acting, everyone panicked because that was it. They had found their Ellie. Mason went on record to say that if she wasn't cast, he was going to his grave knowing that the show could have been better. But everybody saw what he saw. The producers met with Ramsey over Zoom, and she acted out another scene where she was using one of Ellie's favorite curse words.
All right. I don't think they saw us.
There's our bridge. We're a little closer.
If you played the game, you know what it is. From there, Ramsey officially bagged the role. But as it turned out, people didn't quite like her casting, and because of that, she faced severe toxicity on the internet. But that was probably inevitable. They casted a live-action version of an already beloved franchise, and Ramsey looked nothing like the Ellie fans were used to. She didn't have any of the doll-like features from the game or the slender build. But you have to admit the excitement when you first heard of Lyanna Mormont fighting the Cordyceps virus. The nastier side of that was worse though.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
It's all right. We're done here.
Apparently, it was bad enough that the actor began to wonder if she was actually good enough for the role, and she said she had proper doubts. It took her a long time to even accept that she had earned the part and was a good fit, even after filming was finished. But the directors had prepared the actor for this. They told her that there's already a kid they like, and what was gonna happen was, first, they won't want the new kid, then they'll eventually learn to live with the new kid, and pretty soon, they'll literally be willing to die for the new kid. If you think about it, that's exactly the emotional journey Joel goes through. First, he wants to get rid of Ellie. Then by the end, he sacrifices his soul for her. But while Bella Ramsey was dealing with all this,
emotionally, I can tell you a lot of things that I took. But physically, I don't think I took any props, did you?
You didn't steal anything?
No, I really want a knife.
I didn't take anything. Some gray hair.
This is natural now.
she was struck with another discovery. She found out on set that she was also neurodivergent. For the actor, it was thankfully a day off, as they were chilling around during production, and then the diagnosis results came in about the neurodivergence. Apparently, this wasn't actually much of a surprise, since Ramsey had been thinking for years that it could have been possible, but finding out while on the set of The Last of Us must have been a special experience. They said that the cast was all super understanding and made them feel understood and safe. The actor had been on this journey of self-discovery ever since they left the kids show The Worst Witch. They still had some big shoes to fill, but Druckmann and Mason did their best in covering the adaptation. They had to adjust several things to accommodate a medium that is passive, non-interactive, and does not require gameplay. Druckmann indicated that the series would have new things that we probably haven't seen before in the game, but this wasn't done just to make the show different. It simply happened naturally, as they tried to adjust from one medium to another, and the changes will come as a result. That was it for The Last of Us star Bella Ramsey opening up about her feelings on being gender fluid. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.